Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello and welcome to Primetime Local News. My name is Randy Cormish and thank you for joining us. This past Friday, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lloydminster and the Lloydminster and District Co-op partnered up to celebrate International Pie Day. Abby St. John has more on this year's fundraiser.
For the past few years, to celebrate Pie Day, or 3.14 Day, the co-op sold pies and pizza with $1 from each purchase going back to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lloydminster.
We saw it in a newspaper somewhere and we contacted Co-op about 4 years ago and said, hey, we want to do something like this. And so this is kind of the idea they came up with.
Proceeds from each sale will go back to the programs Big Brothers Big Sisters offers.
Each $1.50 fund that comes from each pie goes towards our mentoring program, so that funds our community-based programming and our in-school programming, so matching people from our community to kids in our community, both outside and in schools as well.
The Lloydminster and District Co-op strive to partner with a number of organizations in and around the city, including Big Brothers Big Sisters.
We love events like this where we can do different things and fun things to give back to our community. We love the community we live in, and we know that the organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters are part of what make it so fabulous. So any fun new ways that we can work together to give back is something we love to do.
The Co-op is very good in our community sponsoring any organization, but they've been a great partner of ours for many, many years.
Abby St. John, Primetime Local News.
The 15th annual Kindness Wins has been the biggest so far, with over $8,000 going toward creating an environment of kindness and respect. The Lloydminster and District Co-op presented their check worth $8,420 to support Beyond Borders Circle of Change, who then uses the money to fund kindness initiatives throughout the schools in Lloyd.
Stepped up pretty huge, and with help from Brandy Hofer and the LPSD Art Academy, we've been able to compile huge numbers within the t-shirt and sweater sales that go towards our Kindness Wins campaign, which ultimately benefits school divisions within our community as well as the community itself.
The co-op believes in being a beacon for kindness in the community. Kindness Wins is one of the ways the co-op helps to make Lloyd a more positive environment.
Us, really because we want to live and foster inclusive and kind and welcoming community, and we're proud to be a part of that community, so the more that we can support that, the better.
Kindness Wins has raised over $56,000 for Beyond Borders Circle of Change over the past 15 years. A press conference was held today at Boundary Ford to announce the welcoming back of the Demolition Derby. After a brief break, the Lloydminster Exhibition Association will once again be hosting a Demolition Derby coming up on August 2nd, and demolition enthusiasts are looking forward to the big day.
I'm pretty pumped. I like Lloyd's hometown for me, so running hometown show is going to be pretty exciting. Just the adrenaline you get from it, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, win or lose, it's good to get out there and wreck some stuff.
The event plans to be a success as fans can expect heart-pounding collisions and non-stop entertainment throughout the day. The hope is all the cars stay intact for one final ride at the end of the day.
Really looking forward to this. It's going to be nice to have this as a standalone event this time around. As I had mentioned before, unfortunately there's another event taking place on the weekend affair in the demolition world there. So we kind of had to look for changing up a little bit for this year. So yeah, we're going to try for the August 2nd and see how that runs for us.
The rules of the Derby and more information planned to be announced at a later date. It's now time for This Week in Retrospect. Here is our Nick Hott.
This week on Retrospect, we travel back to the year 1997 for a look into a finger skating event that took place in the border city.
Dozens of skaters showed off their stuff for parents and friends in the crowd, from the well-practiced precision teams to littlest members to don skates for the Disney on Ice show. There were some familiar spotted faces and some kids out just clowning around. But the big highlight for the event was a visit from this famous pair. Western Division Canadian Junior Ice Dance champions Lloydminster's own Trevor Olin and his partner Jamie Chaffee.
We had a really good mid-season, that's for sure. The start of the season, we were skating fairly well and everything. Sectionals didn't pay off as much as we wanted to. We had a great Westerns though, for sure, and we won that one, which we're really happy with.
However, they did not fare so well at the recent Canadian Figure Skating Championships in Vancouver.
We screwed up a little bit on the first dance, and then at a big competition like that, once you're down there, it's really tough to move up. And even though we did skate quite a bit better for our next programs, it's so tough to move up, you can't.
We hoped to do a little bit better, maybe a couple placings, but in the end it was just more exposure. It was just our first year, so.
Yeah, for sure. It's our first year junior, so we weren't really expecting a lot out of it.
As for their future, the young ice dancing pair see themselves higher and even possibly on the medal podium within the next few years. They're aiming to be in the top 8 next year. In the meantime, they will continue to work hard on their program. Olin says developing more strength is always important. Olin and Chaffee said they enjoy doing shows like this one here in the border city. They say somewhere among the clowns and Dalmatians could be a future star.
It's really good, actually. It really helps develop new skaters. Especially in small towns like this. I mean, there's a lot of good skaters coming out of a lot smaller towns than Lloydminster.
Next, we jump forward to the year 2000 for a look into how students helped clean the streets in support of the environment.
Before spring can be fully appreciated, we need to clean up the great outdoors starting here at home. That's what Pitch-In Week is all about, and today things were off to a good start.
The kids' enthusiasm and pride in the community rubs off and they take it home, and their parents decide, yeah, it is a good idea to clean up, and environmental issues are important.
Students were joined by the mayor, who grabbed a broom and helped clear the dust from city streets. He says it's important to get kids thinking about the environment.
Well, I think it's great to see the activity from the schools, you know, and they're at the right age to be learning that this is something that's not just going to be done while they're in school. It's going to have to continue when they become older and citizens of this city or any other city.
Students who were not equipped with brooms and dustpans wandered around the school picking up litter and other garbage. Many were happy to get out of the classroom and make a difference.
I think that you should clean up and make the environment tidy, and then everybody will be happy and you'll be happy because you know that you did something good for the environment.
And if you're driving by, students are hoping when you get home, you'll think about doing your part to clean up your property and help the city get ready for summer. Rochelle Chandria, NewsHour.
And that's all she wrote for this week of Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consulate.
We'll have more primetime local news after the break. The annual Fish Fry event is being held at the Moose Lodge on April 17th, with a delicious meal for everybody to enjoy. I got the chance to speak with the organizers to learn more. Today I'm joined by Bill Armstrong and Gary Cunningham, who are the chairman of the Fish Fry event. And today we're just going to be talking about the event. So thank you so much for joining me today. Would you guys be able to just start off by telling me a bit about the Fish Fry event and what everyone can expect?
I don't know if we should talk historically, but we started this idea of a fish fry probably about 20 years ago. Gary and I had tried a few other ideas, and we thought we'd like to do something for our membership that would be kind of nice, and we twigged on the fish fry. and we didn't know what to expect. And in the very first year, we think maybe there was about 45 people showed up. We had no idea. And all of the people just thoroughly enjoyed it. And the feed of fish that they had was excellent. And they said, boy, we're going to be back next year. And they must have told other people, because the next year we doubled the numbers. And then from then on, the third year, and probably from every year since, the Moose Lodge, where we hold the event, has a seating capacity of 200. And so we can't exceed that. And we easily fill it every year. So it's been running now, I would say, about 20 years. And Gary and I were both there at the start, kind of deciding, shall we give this a try? And here we are today. Yes.
A couple of years we tried 2 settings of 200, and it was far too much work for us. So we went back to 1 setting of 200 because it was simpler, and because 2 settings, those people wanted to visit after it, so it took up space. And so the 1 setting has really worked out well.
That sounds amazing. And then how do you like purchase the tickets for the event? Is there like a website, or is it anyone can kind of show up? How does that work?
Yeah, we have our Fish and Game website where we advertise the event. But in thanking people, Jim Taylor down at Grinding Gears has been so, well, he's a member himself of Fish and Game, but is so supportive of so many things that we do. Another person we need to thank sells memberships for us. He's selling our fish fry tickets. We want one location, one business location. And so that's where it is. People can go there. And so he's done a great job for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know that you mentioned that it's at the Moose Lodge, but what day and time is the event?
It is April the 17th, from 5 to 7 o'clock or whatever, but we eat about 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Doors open at 5, meal served at 6, and then stay and visit as long as you want. There's a great meal. There's dessert, coffee, everything goes with the meal. The ladies prepare the rest of the meal. We take care of the fish. Our own members. Yes.
Okay, awesome.
We don't catch the fish, by the way. Gary, I'd like Gary to talk about that. That's where he comes in, getting our fish supply. It's quite a story.
For years, quite a few years, we've been getting our fish from a commercial guy from McNair Lake, and that's about 50 miles west of Flin Flon, Manitoba. So our fish has been coming for a long ways. It's all deboned, filtered, and vacuum packed. So you can store the fish in a deep freeze for a year and take it out and it's still fresh. And that's what's helped us be successful, because the meat fish is so tender and good. But the last couple of years we've had to get our fish from other places. This year I'm getting the fish from Sled Lake, which is up by Dory Lake, north of the Big River. And I haven't seen the fish yet, so but I hope to get it in the next few days.
Awesome. Yeah, well, that's all the questions I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this, and I look forward to hearing how the fish fry goes. That's all for news. Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your closing market.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
The Lakeland Rustlers women's hockey team won their first ever ACAC championship this past weekend. After dropping Game 1 at home, the Rustlers would win the next 2 games and come out of the first weekend of the best-of-5 series up 2 games to 1. The Rustlers secured the gold medal in Game 4 in Red Deer, defeating the Queens 7-1. This is the Rustlers' first time winning the ACAC gold medal in the program's history. A Saskatoon author has released a book of short series. He has a book launched planned for later this week. Stacey Comer has more.
I have a special guest joining me today on Primetime Local News, located in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Dwayne Brenna is here to talk about his book, Theories of Everything. Dwayne, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me, Stacey.
Well, the book is out already, and it's a collection of short stories. So tell me a little bit about it. Are these stories connected in some way, or are they all just different in their own way?
Well, that's no, they're unconnected. The book is called Theories of Everything. There's one story in there that is the title story. It's Theory of Everything. But no, I mean the stories are kind of all over the map, and what I hope the reader will appreciate is sort of the breadth and depth of imagination that's gone into it. Some of them are narrated by men, some by women, one by a parrot, a murderous parrot. Some are set in Saskatchewan, some in Alberta, some in Costa Rica, Hawaii, Libya. So yeah, it's all over the place, which made it a little difficult to get published, because really publishers nowadays are often looking for linked stories, characters that jump from story to story or some thematic link. These are separate stories, 15 very separate beings.
And are they inspired by things in your life, or are they just random things that your imagination came up with?
No, generally something in life would have inspired them, and it varies from story to story. I mean, the very first story in the book is called Savage God, and it was inspired by a trip I took to Victoria, and I was walking down the street near the Juan de Fuca Motel, and I saw 2 men, one in a wheelchair, one pushing the wheelchair, long-haired guys. They wore sunglasses and leathers. And my buddy, Bob Faulkner, said to me, you know who those guys are, don't you? And I said, no, I don't. He said, well, they used to be rock stars, those 2 guys. So that was the initial image. And I just, I thought, where could I go with 2 rock stars? It was just too good an image to pass up. And there's another story, halfway into the book called The Sewing Machine, which is basically a family story told to me by my mother about her mother, my grandmother, who during the Depression was faced with having her sewing machine repossessed by a repo man. And according to my mother, who was standing beside the stove at the time, she said my grandmother rolled her sleeves up and crossed her arms and said, "You'll have to be a better man than me if you want to take this sewing machine." And so he didn't. She kept her sewing machine and she sewed away happily after that. But yeah, that was just a family story, one that didn't involve a lot of change for me. Basically, the story's been told in my family time and time again. And I just thought it was too good to pass up, too good not to put in print somewhere.
Well, and you have a book launch coming up in Saskatoon. So can you give me some details of that, when and where it is? And are you going to be doing a reading at that as well? And will there be books then available for people to purchase?
Yes, absolutely. The book launches at McNally Robinson Bookstore here in Saskatoon. It's at 7 p.m. on Thursday, March 20th. Both myself and David Carpenter, a friend and colleague of mine, are launching books at this event. David's book is called Hello. Mine, of course, is Theories of Everything. There will be books available for sale should people want to buy them. We will be reading from the books. I don't know if I can talk Dave into bringing his banjo along and playing a tune or two, but if I could, I'd be very happy with that. but yeah, we'll be reading, signing, and generally answering any questions that readers might have.
So what is next for you, Dwayne? Are you already working on another project? Are you taking a break? What's in the mind of Dwayne right now?
Well, it's there's always something on the go, and yeah, I've got a couple of projects. I never really ever work on just one project. So I have a nonfiction book that's kind of captured my attention right now, and it's just basically a story based on 1 year in my life, which is a fairly interesting year when I was 28. I don't want to reveal much more than that about it. I've also been working on a Western novel. We'll see where that goes. And yeah, that's about it. So those two things are captivating me at the moment.
If people are looking to purchase your book, they don't live in Saskatoon and can't be heading out to the opening or to McNally Robinson, where can they find information about your book and about you as well?
Yeah, I mean, they can find information at Shadowpaw Press in Regina, which is the press that's published the book. My personal website is dwaynebrenna.com, all one word, Dwayne Brenna, and lowercase. They can find the book on Amazon, even right today if they want to. And it's also should be available in a bookstore near you.
Well, Dwayne, it's been a pleasure chatting with you once again. The latest book called Theories of Everything, and we look forward to chatting with you again as you unfold more of the projects. And I'm really curious now about what happened to you when you were 28, and you could write a whole book about it. My life's not nearly that exciting. So we'll chat with you once that's all finished as well, just so I can get the scoop.
I hope we can. It's been a pleasure.
Now we will take a look at your adorable pets with our Pets of the Day.
Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Randy Cormish, and have a great rest of your day.